Just do something different. It's not working.
Let's go to the draft. Let's find out what they're going to do. Team Silomid is on A side this time.
Before we get fully focused on the draft, I do just want to add one thing just for the viewers out there. Like, it may seem like we're being really harsh on Echo Fox.
Dude, I'm like actually taking it easy on them right now.
But part of it is because we know these players are better than what they've been showing.
Yeah.
And like we want to see them do well. Like that's why we're being so harsh on them right now, because we want to actually see them perform and they're just not living up to the expectations.
I got in one Twitter war today. I don't think I could handle two.
All right, Team Silomid. They ban out the Vox. Echo Fox now has a chance to answer here. I think you take Koshka off the table. That'd be my play.
Yeah, I think you absolutely have to. You're going to have Adagio and Lyra open. You're going to get one of them. Just get rid of the Koshka.
There it is. Whew. Yeah. Step one towards a successful draft has been initiated by Echo Fox.
Lock it in, team.
Team Silomid, I think you probably, I mean,
Adagio
seems like the solidest bet. Right on. Okay.
Again, can go on Best Chuck, can go on Flash. Just the options are there. Lyra's going to come through as expected.
Yeah, no surprises here.
Okay, now is when things get really interesting, though, right? Because there's so many options for second rotation bans. It kind of forces a second rotation ban sometimes from the opponents. Where would you like to see Echo Fox go here?
Depending on what they have in mind, I feel like they need to factor this glaive into the equation.
I think because they have the ability to pick the glaive first, I feel like I want to see them ban another captain just to try and narrow down that captain pool and force Team Silomid to have to move that Adagio onto Flash X. I feel like, while Flash X's Adagio is still very strong, I feel like letting them have the Adagio on Best Chuck is even more dangerous.
So you ban Fortress?
I would say Fortress or Arden, one of the two.
Fortress.
Solid play, and it is going to
play.
be the Fortress ban out of Echo Fox. Now Team Silomid need to decide, okay, hey, what are we going to do for our second ban? It seems likely, I mean, Lyra much more frequently played captain. Not distributed in the same way that Adagio is across all the different roles here.
Yeah, not necessarily. I think it's just a little bit harder to make it work out of the lane, not that it's necessarily weaker. Just a little bit harder for players to execute on.
Yeah.
All right, Team Silomid starting to eat into their bonus time a little bit. I would not be that surprised to see something like the glaive banned away, something that can make plays and work with this Lyra to set things up for Echo Fox. But it's going to be the Kestrel.
I think the danger right now for Echo Fox is Flicker is still open. I was actually, after the Fortress ban came through, I was thinking, oh, maybe actually a Flicker ban would have been better for them there, because then they could have taken the Fortress if they really wanted it. But
Flicker Adagio is still a possibility for Team Silomid.
That's why I'm saying, like, that's really scary.
I don't think TSM would have let it through. Maybe Lance. So we have to assume this is Cole's.
I think you pick Flicker if you're Team Silomid here, right? It goes really well with Adagio, and I don't think that there are the tools necessarily for Echo Fox to deal with it.
I don't think there are at all. I think Flicker would be perfect for them right now.
What would you couple it up with?
Anything you want. Maybe Glaive. Just go all in on that early game.
Yeah.
If you wanted to prove
Boom! Nailed it.
Yeah. I mean,
next update, please. We know this one back of our hands.
Yeah, this is pretty straightforward here. Vonzi's glaive looked very strong last week, his weapon glaive. He was living through these fights. He went into the fight with like 5% health. Crystal Sentry jumps on him. He just keeps standing his ground, life-stealing it back.
What's the last pick for Echo Fox here, Bacon? Your predictions for the draft, at least, have been very on point.
This one's tough. Like, I want to say you pick up a laner here, but at the same time, like, you don't really have the tools to deal with what Team Silomid has at the moment.
You think this is Delphi's Lance?
I want it to be.
As I said, I don't think we should speculate on that. They haven't shown any inclination that they're going to go down that path. All right, Jewel is going to be the laner. So we've got the Captain Lyra. I mean, I think Jewel into Adagio, that seems pretty rough. You're just going to get really outranged, right?
Yeah, but
as far as the laning phase.
But the range doesn't really matter that much. I mean, we've seen Jules be able to do really well into a multitude of ranged laners. I'm just so nervous about the Flicker Glaive coming in and just absolutely destroying that lane in the early game. And Team Soul Mid is one of the few teams that I haven't had to complain about picking up the glaive and not using it.
Do we take into account like how is Lance going to build here?
I feel like it's going to be a little bit of like little weapon power early, and then going into just kind of some crystal to try and extend the duration of crowd control.
My problem is, like, I don't know. I don't think you can afford as the Lance to build a tension bow this game, but I feel like you kind of want to. Like, you want to be able to do something early, right, against the comp that Team Solomon has. But Flicker isn't that squishy. Glaive and Adagio aren't that squishy, and they have the heal out of Adagio. It's tough. I mean, do you think Sara Blade is the route here?
It's really tough to say. I mean, they're going to itemize against you. It's going to be super efficient because they just have to stack armor if that's the case.
It's a build I don't normally like on Lance. I would be perfectly okay with seeing Tension Bow Aftershock.
We're going to see a little bit of a here, I think.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So,
and I like this better.
Explain to the viewers what we're looking at here. What are we going to see?
We're going to see Delphi taking the Jewel out of the jungle, most likely. Mixi taking the Lyra out of the lane. And based off of our critiques, this does fit their playstyle a little bit better.
A lot better.
Still interesting picks for those positions. I mean, if you got to make predictions, is it still Team Solomon?
You know, you got to start somewhere. So I think you're on the right path. I still think TSM probably dumpster them this game.
I think it's going to be closer than Game 1. I think Team Solomid still wins. I think this is a step in the right direction for Echo Fox. But Team Solomid is just such a tough team to be taking small steps against.
Yeah, I mean,
it's true. Well said.
We talked about strength of schedule for Echo Fox. It's rough. They're in a game against Team Solomid. One loss from getting knocked out of this week. Let's see what happens as we head on the Halcyon Fold with Excoundrel and Dalsy.
Well, they've listened in some sense of the word. They've put the CP laner in and a weapon-powered jungler. It's a good start for Echo Fox into playing to their individual strengths. Definitely a hard task to take down TSM, though.
Look at the start from Colmamique, by the way. This is a start that is specifically tailored against the likes of Flicker. Gone for loads of scout traps, lots of flares, trying to keep tabs on where Flicker is at all times. And you see it's so important to get a good grip on that laning presence that Flicker has, that he's actually foregone buying things like any movement towards a fountain, for instance. And actually, look at this, he's going very heavy here.
Oh yeah, Colmamique just knocked completely out of position, not level 2, nowhere to run. First blood this time to Best Chuck in A.
Goodness me, sorry, it's getting late in the UK now. I just almost yawned through my entire segment. Yeah, I mean, this is again, you can't predict where Flicker's going to come at all times, but I would have loved to have seen a scout trap up in there in that top brush, just to keep in tabs on if FlashX did move up there, they at least had an idea. But this is the problem against a Flicker early on. Even if you place the scout traps, Flicker will just clear them and then come back later to try and find a similar kind of gank. So it's so difficult to try and keep tabs on Flicker. And you can see here Colmamique kind of learned his lesson, is going to shove a scout trap up there. But look, I mean, FlashX will just clear that out and then he'll come back later.
Yeah. It's an endless battle. It's like you said in Game 1, Excoundrel, you can't really be itemizing into the Flicker as much because Flicker will just be able to outdo you in that game.
But yeah, it's difficult to itemize into a Flicker because Flicker can just counter-itemize with a contraption of their own, especially if the Flicker is ahead at that point in time. The problem is if you're itemizing against the Flicker...
they're actually going in. Wow, Best Chuck just completely caught out. Lone Delphi comes into the lane, Excoundrel. And Best Chuck just didn't expect it.
I guess they weren't expecting the aggression from Fox, given the way that they performed against the Flicker last time round, but that's a good start for Fox. Trying to put pressure onto Von C to respond. FlashX, unfortunately, not exactly the best peeling. Got decent peel as a Flicker, but not exactly designed to peel by any stretch of the imagination, Dalsy. So pressure onto Best Chuck and A already here. Immobile laner like Adagio. Good start for Fox to continue to apply pressure like that, but here comes Von C once more.
Yep, it's going to be just sitting in the lane, looking to see if Colmamique pushes too far forward. FlashX knocks against the wall. Mixi's actually doing a lot of damage. There's the Impale, but the Afterburn goes the wrong direction. unless they were just trying to kill here, TSM may have just been wanting to disengage the fight. Regardless, Lone Delphi's here. He's pushed into the lane. Presence completely known. They're trying to find Flash X, just hoping to catch him out, but of course this flicker is passive, means he's stealthed up and there's nowhere to see. So Lone Delphi to head back into the jungle and continue the farm game.
The issue I've always had with itemizing against a flicker has been that if you're itemizing against a flicker, it's usually because the flicker is far enough ahead, or the team is far enough ahead, that you have to worry about where flicker is at all times. If that is the case, flicker has already done his job.
Those impales land, it's a scary task. Lone Delphi will just jump on your face and the Thunderstrike's going to start critting up. I kind of feel like Echo Fox, they have the ability to make some really big plays here against TSM, but they need to avoid these ones as it's going to be Call the Meek knocking everyone away, able to disengage that fight. Mixshi's certainly the target that they want on those afterburns.
Yeah, I mean, that was, I think anybody at this point in time is a good target for an afterburn, but they don't quite have the burst damage through yet, especially because Vonsi put himself in turret range. He couldn't yet start applying those basic attacks to Colmeek. Colmeek did burn his boots just to get out of the snare from the flicker there, so it's not a complete loss for TSM. They have burnt a small cooldown that could be fairly vital as the game progresses. But I've got to say, Fox faring slightly better against TSM than they did last game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's way more even. They're making aggressive plays. They're looking for this flicker, and a blind route will find him. Vonsi, though, jumping on in, and Delphi's jumping on out. TSM just marching on over as Best Chuck going to just do the damage. Vonsi able to secure that kill onto Lone Delphi, and the aggression. TSM, they recognize that Echo Fox are trying to make plays, so they set up and wait for them.
And also, the fact that that early vision start from Colmeek means he was nowhere near a fountain, and FlashX has already got his fountain. So, you know, if there is one big captain item spike that you play around in the early game, especially if you've got a brawling teamfight composition, is if there is a fountain discrepancy between two captains. If you have the fountain and the opposition captain doesn't, usually you're in a position where it's almost impossible to lose a team fight. And you know, that was perfectly illustrated there. Had there been a fountain, that might have been a team fight that Fox could have turned around, but because basically Colmeek invested into so many vision items early on, wasn't able to build a fountain as quickly as FlashX was, and FlashX had that advantage.
Well, has it now, but maybe a little bit too late here. You're going to see that alternating current completed as well for Mixshi to match what Best Chuck and A currently has. Everyone's moving up to the lane once more for Echo Fox, but Lone Delphi's going to head on back towards the jungle. May run into Vonsi here. They both have vision of each other, both going to purchase the Sorrow Blade at the same time, so at least that's going for Echo Fox, that some of their items are matching TSM. It means that they're not too far behind, but as far as gold is concerned, it is a 1300 gold lead for TSM.
Yeah, it's not a huge amount right now, but it's definitely a good start. Fox just a little bit wary about going into the enemy mustache brush without vision. They either just follow up with the impale to start, because if they do land that impale onto a stray FlashX, they should be able to pick up the kill here. Vonsi and FlashX themselves just now meandering around the jungle. Let's see Colmeek, see where he goes after this fountain. You'd imagine he might follow suit that he did previously, Dalcy, and go for the contraption.
Perhaps, certainly. You know, wanting to try and lay down all the vision. If we see that, I assume FlashX will meet him halfway at some point. Right now, though, it's going to be Lone Delphi trying to sneak into the jungle, trying to sneak into the lane. In fact, the top push there, of course, FlashX is currently occupying it, so it means that there's nothing really to happen. Vonsi's going to move up. Mooncloak goes down for Echo Fox. They're moving into a choke point, and Mixshi's completely bursted. Lone Delphi going to be the next target, nowhere to go. And Colmeek, he lands the impale, but what is it all for? Double kill for Vonsi, and ace comes through for TSM. Echo Fox called out.
What monster plays from TSM, time and time again, playing around that level 6 spike that the flicker can provide. After all of that investment into vision, Colmeek doesn't use it when it counts. All that investment into vision in the early game delayed his fountain, really put, you know, a lot of pressure on himself to keep tracks of where this flicker is, and the only time that it counted, the only time that it actually made a huge difference, he didn't manage to flare or get any indication as to where TSM were. No scout traps picked them up, nothing. Only time. The only time, Dalsy.
It's sad, right? It's a tragedy that all this investment and the one time that it would have made the hugest of difference, it wasn't available. You can see he returns, he's got a flare gun for himself, 5 flares in the pocket as well. Scout traps going down, you know, Colamic's trying to make up for the mistake, or maybe the mistake on timing more than anything, but the damage has been done. The 3,000 gold lead, 4,000 gold lead is there for TSM. They're 4 kills in the lead, and it's all about to happen again as Vonsi comes back into the lane. Lone Delphi turns his back. They're running here, Echo Fox. They don't want the fight. TSM, they have the ability to just chase, try and knock out Lone Delphi, try and find the kills. Thankfully for Echo Fox, they are just about able to escape this time.
Yeah, the ultimate comes through trying to catch someone off on the back there, but Vonsi able just to head back into lane, feel fairly comfortable. The Adagio heal's going to start putting him back towards suitable HP levels. And again, there's sort of, I'd say, Fox come out ever so slightly unscathed there. Going to be able to spot out FlashX just chilling in that top brush. Finally, some good vision coming down from Kolmamik. He is heading towards a contraption, by the way. But FlashX is already 2 items ahead.
They're going to just dive on in. Kolmamik doesn't spot it out, but there's no one there to catch this time. Echo Fox able to... Well, they were both in the process of porting back Lone Delphi and Mixi. And of course, now that this Lyra is level 6, the Arcane Passage, when they're in a defensive scenario, will allow them to escape the initial engage.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, you know, you don't really want to be using that time and time again to have to escape. And also, it's on a, you know, fairly decent cooldown. Not as long as Flicker's ultimate, though. So Flicker's ultimate is on a very, very long cooldown. So they should be able to consistently have that as a backup. But still, you're not going to be winning many fights by running away from them. And you've got an Adagio who scales it very, very well compared to, I think, the only thing... I think Lyra and Jules scale okay, but realistically, Adagio scaling is really, really good. I don't know, maybe you get to a point here where Flicker starts to fall off and then TSM start to struggle, but doesn't seem to be happening anytime soon here for TSM.
No, they're in a position right now where they can continue putting the pressure down. They're just starting to set up a little bit of vision around the map. It's mostly defensive vision for TSM, so you can say it's been there for a little while now, but I'm sure FlashX eventually is going to start hitting that point where the map starts getting listed blue. Every map movement that Echo Fox puts out is under radar, you know, totally big brother here on the Halcyon Fold, and TSM's the one with the surveillance cameras. This gold miner, Echo Fox know it's happening. They have the vision that it's going down. There's the big red button to try and steal it out, but TSM, they make the right call. They just stop attacking it, allow the big red button to deplete, and then they secure the gold miner.
Yeah, the damage from weapon power Jules, big red button, probably not enough for TSM to be worried about. Timed that really well, though. Gives them a little bit of an extra gold bump here, pushing them just nearly over that 5k mark. Looks like a contraption will be coming out from FlashX. Again, like I said, sees the contraption built on Kolmamik. The best way to counter a contraption is a contraption of your own. So FlashX is going to respond accordingly.
Yep, it's just been finished here for Kolmamik, and the scout traps are starting to lay down. Echo Fox trying to find as much vision as possible, make sure this moon cloak doesn't become a problem. Lone Delphi and Mixi, they're just scrapping for any gold they can find. This Crystal Sentry, TSM, they can walk in, they can take it away. It's the second life taken as well, so only one more left for this poor Crystal Sentry on Echo Fox's side of the jungle. And Echo Fox, bit of a Mooncloak coming. Maybe they find an engage. Yeah, they're going to go straight onto Lone Delphi. Jumps away, but Best Truck will be able to find the kill for him. They're not going to find anything else, but perhaps they just get the turret as a response.
Yeah, I mean, the wave clear from Lyra is probably good enough to defend this, but Vonsi seems pretty keen to go in here. Actually won't have a great wave clear attempt with that Sigil, and actually going to get the turret straight off the bat here, Dalsy. So didn't try and clear the wave with that Sigil, tried to ward away Vonsi, but Vonsi having absolutely none of it.
It's a slow, you know, choke that TSM are performing here, and we've seen it from, I think, the top North American teams consistently. They're kind of moving away from this super aggressive, quick play style that perhaps won teams games at the World Championships of 2016. They're moving more into a calculated play style where they choke their opponents, and then once they have that incredible lead over them, then they execute maybe more towards that 16-minute mark. And this is the game playstyle that I love, you know, coming from other experience of other games. It definitely seems to be one of the most strongest playstyles you can achieve because it's so risk-free.
It's difficult to say because we had this discussion just off stream, myself and you, Dalcy, and both types of gameplay hold merit. For instance, we saw two sets of really aggressive games that seemed to play dividends for the teams that were super aggressive. But this style of game, I think you're right. You know, if you calculate it and play it correctly, it's slightly lower risk. There's less risk for a comeback by playing this sort of Gangstars TSM vibe that we've sometimes seen teams employ, which is a neutral objective focus. Take fights when you think you're absolutely sure you can pick something up from them. Don't try and overstep your boundaries and just starve the enemy through superior map control. TSM seem to be doing that here, but I also think they're starting to pull themselves back because they're not quite sure what they can achieve in terms of making teamfights happen or their way. But once they take up this Crystal Sentry for the last time, they'll have free reign of the enemy jungle. That's probably where FlashX wants to be. So if they can find a fight on this Crystal Sentry, and if they can take that out ASAP, that's be great for them. That's probably why Fox were defending it so heavily, by the way. Yeah,
no, they're trying to force the fight around it, as TSM don't seem too keen to go for fights unless there's a massive purpose for it. The Maroon Cloak, though, they're going to get just sandwiched here. FlashX is in, but here comes the rest of the team. There's no way to reveal them. Bestchuck starting to lay down the damage onto Lone Delphi. Lone Delphi just nowhere to go. He's going to get bursted on down, and Cole the Meek, meant to be the tankiest, but where is he gone? It's going to be an ace. It's going to be a double, and FlashX able to secure the other. Oh, TSM, they strike, and they strike hot. This choke point turret is going to go down as well. And the Kraken has just spawned. TSM able to just have full map dominance.
Yeah, and they're not even going to bother pushing much further than this choke point turret. They're going to go straight for the Kraken, take that off the board. If they take this Kraken, get the regen, take the Crystal Sentry out, they are going to have a field day cleaning this game up from Echo Fox. Again, they took a fight they felt fairly comfortable in taking. I think Echo Fox were a little bit too far extended into their own jungle. They were so hell-bent on protecting the final life of their Crystal Sentry, knowing that if they gave it up, they relinquished all map control to TSM. That TSM said, well, we've got a level advantage, we've got a damage advantage, we've got an item advantage. Let's just rush them and ignore the Crystal Sentry. They're nowhere near being able to retreat to a turret. There's not many places Lyra can go immediately with her Arcane Passage. They just chose a really good position and time to fight.
Yeah, and it pays off. Like, you see these infusions as well. It's like all level 12s on TSM, and at the beginning of that fight, it was just mostly level 10s there for Echo Fox. They're just not in a position where they're able to, and this is going to be it. Once more, the Kraken marching into the base. Echo Fox looking to try and make their last hurrah a reality for themselves, but TSM, they're just baiting the Kraken. They don't need to do much. Oh, Lone Delphi once in. They're going for the last hurrah. Echo Fox trying to find the damage, but Lone Delphi, he gets knocked back in, and he's taken on down by Von Z. Mixi, he tries to escape, and he will, but escaping just allows TSM to take your base. Vayne Crystal turrets destroyed, and the Vayne Crystal to go down as well. Von Z may lose his life or not, as it turns out, and a fourth 2-0 here in North America to finish the night. TSM with a very clean victory over Echo Fox.
Not totally sure I was on board with the Lone Delphi suicide train there at the end, but I think that was kind of summed up how the entire game felt like it was going. It kind of felt like it was Fox wanted to make the moves, Fox wanted to be the ones in the driving seat, but TSM doing TSM things meant that it was impossible, and I think Humanist summed it up right. You could have picked whatever you wanted here. You could have picked the best composition and the worst composition for TSM. TSM probably still win. They are just the better team.
Well, they've certainly shown it, and they're going to be heading on into the semi-finals tomorrow to have another crack at getting another first place for themselves. And really, it's going to be hard to stop them. It'll be the Hammers roster to face up with them. But that's about it for us, Scoundrel. We're going to have to sign off. Hand on over to the analysts to close out the show.
All right, another very quick game from Team Solo Mid. They just seem unstoppable. I think they've dropped like one game so far, right? Something along those lines?
One game. 2 games.
2 games?
2 games. They dropped one game week 1, one game week 2.
The first was the Cloud9.
Second was the game.